Hey guys, welcome to the Ramsey Paul Show. We go over the top 5 news stories of the day. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always send a tip to Powerchat live at Ramsey Paul, or some people actually write my P.O. Box, Paul Ramsey, P.O. Box 8093, Fayetteville, Arkansas 72703. I really do appreciate it. I don't have any corporate sponsors or sugar daddies, so I count on you guys. So thank you very much. It looks like the idea of flooding Minnesota with Somalis wasn't a great idea. Who could have figured that out? Who could have known? Who could have known? You take people from a very primitive place in Africa, warlords. As Trump said, there's really not much of the government. They have gangs. It'd be like if you took South Chicago or Detroit and made it a country, right? You just have these warlords, very cruel, violent. They want to get the hell out of there. Remember Black Hawk Down? And they're dragging the bodies of American servicemen. I mean, very primitive, savage, right? And we're like, yeah, these are the people we want to import into Minnesota, Minneapolis, formerly in the 70s and 80s, almost 100% white, right? Very little crime, clean. The people, their ancestry was like Nordic, Norwegians. That was Minnesota, and it was liberal politically, Walter Mondale, that type of thing. But it wasn't this crazy violence or uh, fraud and all that. But now we have massive fraud and violence in Minnesota. Who would have figured? Because everyone thought, hey, well, people are interchangeable. You don't want to be racist to you, so you can bring in millions of people and they're going to turn into white people. That was the idea because we have magic dirt in America. We're special. Once they put their bare feet on our soil, they'll turn into white people. But that hasn't happened. They maintained being Somalis instead of with warlords in Somaliland. They're doing it here in Minnesota. And there was a big scandal that broke concerning fraud. And we have it right here. This is 100% responsible. Hundreds of Minnesota DHS employees are accusing Governor Tim Walz, he's the governor of Minnesota, of ignoring warnings about massive fraud and retaliating against whistleblowers as federal prosecutors unravel an alleged COVID era scheme involving more than $250 million, that's your tax dollars, in stolen funds. So these Somalis came over here from their shithole of a country, and the way they thanked us is engaging in massive fraud. And it was huge. It wasn't just like one or two guys, it was systematic in their community. Massive looting of our country by people that hate us, fundamentally hate us. They're not compatible with us. They don't share our backgrounds, our religion, but they don't care. They're looting. And Tim Walz, he probably knew about it because these whistleblowers were telling him what was happening. But you have to understand, Tim Walz, he's a Democrat, and in his worldview, white people are evil. And to be a whistleblower when Somalis are looting, engaging in fraud, that sounds like racism. That's racism. The worst thing is to be racist. We have to accept these people in our community. So that was it. And a lot of these stolen funds were transferred back to Somalia, and they have various warlord terrorist organizations, and it went back there. Now, I don't really care so much about that. They shouldn't be here in the first place. That is the problem. What they what they spend their looted money on. Yeah, I don't want to go to a terrorist organization, but I don't want to go in anywhere. We don't need these people here. And Trump created an issue because he called Walz retarded, which, he's acting really stupid. And I don't think Walz is really stupid or low IQ. I don't think he's super bright. But again, he was in this paradigm white people are bad. We can't do anything that will make these black African immigrants look bad, these Muslims. No, we can't do that because our goal is to destroy white countries. He's on board with that. And so that's his entire worldview. And it's a huge issue. And it's predictable. And again, a lot of people don't have any honor with their culture. And I'm not saying Europeans all do. I mean, from the white European point of view in America, in general, our people are honorable. And I say in general, there's always exceptions. I know that. And I've seen that. I told a story about this little small town in Kansas I was invited 2 years ago to speak. And it was basically founded by Swedes. It's still a Swedish town. And it was 100% white, almost all Swedish. In fact, they spoke Swedish there. They spoke English, but they kept their culture. But they had a little diner where you just went in, you took what you wanted. They didn't have a cashier. They had the price, and you just left the money in a basket. And there's no way you could do that in Minnesota, Somalia people. They would not have the honor to do the honor system. They would immediately steal everything. Cultures are not the same, they're very different. And just because you import them over, they're not going to adapt to ours. And we see that. So there's certain people and their cultures are very dishonorable, thieving type of people. Now, maybe they're all not, but that's their culture. With us, it's more of the exception, and we look down upon that. Whereas in that culture, they see it as getting one over the man, and they like high five each other. This is admirable. So if you can engage in dishonorable activities, yeah, go for it, especially if you get away with it. This just isn't compatible. And this is what started Trump saying we need re-immigration. We need to deport these people. I don't care if they're here legally, they need to go. They're not compatible. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country. They're a separate. They're not assimilating. They're a separate people within our country that are hostile towards us. They do not belong here. So we're seeing more and more how the big immigration experiment that immigration enriches us is simply not true. And I don't want to hear, oh, we're a nation of immigrants. No, we're not. When my ancestors came here, they didn't immigrate. They were pioneers. There was no country here. No, the Indians didn't have the United States of America. They were primitive tribes. My people built this country. No, slaves didn't. They picked cotton. White Europeans built this country, the legal system, the philosophy, the religion, the language, everything was white Europeans built this country. And it's just not interchangeable. And yeah, a lot of then later other immigrants came in, like Irish and German and Swedish people, but they were closely aligned to us. Most of them were Christian, and they had basically the same genetics. And while there could be some disruptions, there's no doubt about it, they could assimilate as Americans. I don't think that's true for every racial group or every ethnic group. It obviously isn't. We're seeing that. And so that is the problem. So we're not all a nation of immigrants. We were pioneers created by white Europeans, mostly from England, established America. We were a Christian nation. Now, you didn't have to be a Christian, but we were Christian. So that is just showing how the whole idea of multiculturalism is an abject failure. All right, let's see here. As Trump said, and I'll do a little bit more about Somalia, he was saying here, look at his take on this, and I agree with Trump. Trump is, I get frustrated with, but he says a lot of good things. Let's listen to this.
The people from different countries that are not friendly to us, and countries that are out of control themselves. Countries like Somalia that have virtually no government, no military, no police. All they do is go around killing each other. Then they come into.
That's pretty much it. It's a very violent, it's almost like a libertarian paradise, right? No government. There are all these warlord gangs that rape and kill each other. That's their culture. And that's why they don't want to live there, by the way. Because I've seen this, oh, actually, Somalia is a beautiful country. Yeah, well, then go the fuck back there, right? Go the fuck back there to your beautiful country.
Our country and tell us how to run our country. We don't want them. What are you talking about? You got to talk up.
She said how many countries? Is there a list?
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? There's probably more than that.
Is that what you mean when you mean third world countries, those 19?
No, I don't think they're all third world, but in many cases they are third world. They're not good countries. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country.
Right, because the people make the country. And it's not like these people are victims of bad government officials. They created the government. The people do that. And if you interchange the people, we're going to get the same result. Just because you transfer them, we're not going to get a separate issue. And we know this. This is not a one off because of Minnesota. We know this from everywhere. We see this happening in Sweden. All the people that went into Sweden from third world countries, they brought a lot of violence. Now they have huge amount of rapes and grenade attacks and gang attacks when that virtually did not exist in the 1970s when Sweden was like 97% white. We're seeing the same thing in Britain happen. So this isn't a one-off. We see the pattern and it never changes.
Telling us what to do.
And you talk about
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into a country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
I agree. And so Trump is getting very, he's very strong on this. And I have a lot of problems with Trump, but on this issue, I think he's 100% right. So good for that. Stephen Miller, my favorite guy in the Trump administration. So you can't call me anti-Semitic. You can't call me anti-Semitic because I like Stephen Miller. And either Stephen Miller or JD Vance. I guess JD Vance is my favorite because he's one of my people, but Stephen Miller's second. The Democrat Party is organized around one essential command. No limit of any kind can be placed on the entry of third world migrants. Right. The failed states of the world must be allowed to empty themselves out into America, and you must pay for their every need forever. That is a Democrat position. And again, there's a lot of reasons for it, but I would say the underlying reason is because groups like the ADL, they don't want there to be any white homelands again because of Nazi Germany, and they see us as a threat. So now they get their homeland, their Jewish homeland of Israel, and we must respect their ethnic homeland, but we're not allowed to have one. And so to break apart countries so they don't become like Nazi Germany, we have to flood them with Africans and Muslims and so forth. And they don't really give a fuck if it hurts our people. Hey, they probably enjoy that. Revenge, that's a bonus. So this is what's happening. This is what's driving it. And the Democrats and even sadly a lot of Republicans, as long as it's legal and we vet them, I don't want to vet them. I don't want them here. I don't want them here. I don't want them vetted. I don't give a shit. Oh, they're good people. A lot of them are good people. They're not all engaging in fraud. Well, good. They can be good people in their homelands. We have a right to our homelands, just like the Jews have a right to their homeland in Israel. We have a right to our homelands, not just America, but also Europe. We have our language, our culture. I don't want to be a part of the Somali culture. I like a culture that's more honorable, peaceful, clean. I don't want filth. I don't want shit in the streets. I don't want random violence. I don't want attacking women on the streets and molesting them. That's common in those countries. I don't want that. You know, they can do that in their countries. We don't have to bring that in our country. And this is the number one thing. So that was the big story. So is the Somali immigrant Minnesota fraud. All right. The other big issue that came in the news today, and this is something I've talked about, it's one of those things I don't really see a solution for. It's just something, it's like we're the Titanic heading towards the iceberg, and you can't stop a big ship on a dime. So if you're headed towards an iceberg and you see it at the last minute, even if you put the ship in reverse or try to steer the ship around the iceberg, there's a point, just like happened with like Titanic, it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's what we're seeing here with the debt. The debt has become crazy. The national debt is approaching 40 trillion. It will never be paid off. No one is even seriously thinking about how to do it. The federal government will ultimately destroy the currency through hyperinflation, paying to pay off the debt and wipe out any bank savings. And Cernovich said, yes, this is why Elon had a panic attack. His big brain, his brain is big enough to run the numbers, and he realized it was way worse than anyone comprehend. No one in DC cares. And as Nicolo says, it's systematically impossible to even try to begin to fix this problem. even if it could be solved. To solve this problem, we'd have to have radical changes, radical cuts, and not only welfare spending, we'd have to cut that, but we'd also have to radically cut the defense spending. And we spend so much on that, and so many congressmen get paid off on that. And there's just the Democrats don't want their welfare cut, and the Republicans, they don't want their neocon military cut. So there's no way really to solve this. And this is a problem in a democracy when people know they can vote the treasury to themselves. It's like, yeah, I want all these benefits, but I don't want to pay taxes. Eventually, the system breaks. Now, we've been able to get by with it because we're the world's reserve currency, the dollar is, because everyone has to buy dollars to buy oil. That was an agreement reached with Saudi Arabia in the 1970s. After we went off the gold standard, we went to the oil standard, and we told Saudi Arabia on OPEC, okay, here's the deal. We will protect you with our military, but in exchange, you have to insist on all your transactions are in dollars. So that led to a demand of dollars. So even though we print a lot of money, we don't get hyperinflation because all these other countries need our dollars. That is changing. The world is changing. We have BRICS. We have the rise of Russia and China. And Russia is not just a gas station with nukes, as we're seeing. They're winning the war. That was all a neocon lie. They're advancing. They're outproducing us in manufacturing. Yes, outproducing the United States. They're not a poor country. They're becoming a powerhouse. China is more advanced than the United States in manufacturing, and they can get off the dollar now. So we're headed towards a real problem, and I don't see any solution to it until it collapses. That's just going to happen. There's no way to fix it now. Elon Musk saw the issue, and with Doge, he was trying to do the cuts, but even his just minor cuts, you remember all the hysterics it created? There's just no way. And I think Trump gave up on that. And that is where we are right now. All right. Let's see here. All right. The big thing now is this whole, speaking of neocons, this monkey business was Venezuela. We're trying to do regime change in Venezuela to overthrow the leader there, Maduro. We don't like him. We have the pretext is because they send drugs to the United States. Yeah, so does every fucking Latin American country, right? I mean, what are we going to do? Invade them all? So that's just the excuse. And we want regime change. I didn't vote for regime change, but it seems like the neocons want this in Venezuela. It's not going. Even if we do regime change, it's not going to end well. There'll be a lot more refugees. We'll have a lot more of these people in our country. Their country, Venezuela, will be fucked up because it's always been fucked up. Always will be fucked up because it's full of Venezuelans. That's not going to change. We can't fix it. But so we've been bombing these boats, I guess drug boats, with our military, and supposedly. Pete Hegseth said, after we bomb the boats that are loaded with drugs, just kill them all. And that created an issue because that's actually a war crime. And people are helpless. You just can't kill them. And so there's been a big debate about what should we do with that. And some of these Democrats are saying, well, you don't have to follow unlawful orders if they tell you to, kill civilians. And Trump is threatening the people that say that with jail. I guess there's a law that says anyone with intent to interfere with, impair, or influence the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the U.S. military or naval forces. This is crazy. It shouldn't be a law. What it is, if you object to the military or something they do, you could be thrown into jail. So there's this, here's Trump talking about this. And again, this is a problem. When you start to go on these neocon adventures, you end up killing a lot of innocent people and creating potentially war crimes. And I don't really care about Venezuelans, and those people in the boats are probably drug smugglers, but that's a law enforcement thing. It's not really a matter for the military. And definitely, if you blow up their boat and they're just swimming around, you just can't machine gun them. That's against the Geneva Convention. So again, I don't think this is going to end well. It's excuse me, it's just stupid that we even went down this route. All right, our last story here and has to do with North Carolina, and they passed a law uh, trying to keep vicious criminals in jail. So let's take a look at this here.
As you do when there's a hurricane or a tragic storm that is coming.
A meeting of Mecklenburg County minds centered this week around the impending start of Iryna's Law December 1st. And the
Iryna was that blonde girl. I think she was Ukrainian. She's just sitting on the bus reading or something. And some black thug criminal who had been arrested a million times said, I'm going to, kill some white bitch. And so he stabbed her in the neck. And it was horrific. And this black criminal had a huge history of violence. He shouldn't have been out. He should have been executed long ago. And I'm for giving people second chances. But if you do this over and over, I don't even want to keep you in prison forever. I just wanted to execute you. You should be executed. You're a piece of shit that should be in the graveyard. I don't want to pay taxes to feed you. Fuck you. You should be dead. He should be dead right now from what he did. We should have faster trials. We had it on video, what happened. There's no question about it. This guy should have been executed months ago, but we still have this piece of shit living and we're still paying for him. That's outrageous. But what happened is like, why are these judges allowing vicious criminals to go free? Well, it goes back to Black Lives Matter. Because these people, blacks are more likely to go to prison than whites. Yeah, you guys commit more crimes. That's why. It's not some racist conspiracy. You're more violent, you commit more crimes, you go to jail. Oh, no, we can't keep black bodies in jail. So what they decided, these liberal judges, to let them out, especially if you're black. And then this happens.
suspected jail surge that'll start with it.
We feel prepared for Monday. Now, when we say that, there's probably obviously going to be some hurdles along the way that we have to adjust to as we kind of roll into this new law.
The law restricts judges and magistrates from releasing violent and repeat offenders before trial. Chief Judge Roy Wiggins gave the example of someone charged with first-degree arson. Judicial officials will now have to do more to grant pretrial release.
There's now presumed that no amount of money or no conditions of release will protect the public in that situation.
This Mecklenburg County Sheriff.
Yeah, if you're a violent criminal, you shouldn't be out running around free. That's just, and again, this isn't for minor things, but this is repeat offenders. People that have done this over and over and over. It's a shame. I mean, these people are guilty. They have Iryna's blood on their hands because that bitch wouldn't keep the savage in prison.
Gary McFadden anticipates a significant strain on jail capacity and its staff.
Well, then we should execute some to free up the prisons. Seriously, that's what we should do.
If you can find a policy that will help fill vacancies and you find a policy that produces funding, that is what the sheriff needs.
County commissioners are.
It doesn't cost much. It shouldn't cost much to execute people. I mean, you go down to Home Depot, get some rope, and then we could open up some jail space.
Argue a problem with the law is that it didn't come with any extra money from the state to help local criminal justice systems.
All right, well, we'll have a GoFundMe to buy rope at Home Depot. How about that? And then we can free up some space.
We know that a huge part of the jail population does have mental health issues.
Well, a rope will help cure that mental health issue. How about that, right? Just because you have a mental health issue doesn't give you the right to stab a girl in the neck. Because, I got the white bitch. Fuck you. Rope will take care of that. It's a good cure, 100% cure. It's better than a counselor.
And so this is really something that we need to think about on a bipartisan basis. We want to be safe, all of us. And we need to do that by having the resources to prevent tragedy.
Again, the resources, how much does rope cost? It doesn't really cost a lot.
And Iryna's law does not include, or does rather include, money for 10 additional prosecutors for the county district attorney's office.
Boy, this woman's ugly. I mean, what the hell? This is, couldn't they get someone, is this North Carolina? What the hell is this?
The district attorney says that he hopes is going to clear at least the backlog that they're dealing with when it comes to criminal cases. So more updates to come.
Yeah, this is, I guess, a step in the right direction. But this is a primary duty of the government, is to protect the citizens. That's the number one duty. It's not to promote gay pride or whatever the fuck they're doing. It's to protect the citizens. So I hope this goes through, that this is going through, and we need to see more of this. All right, guys. Thank you. It's been a good show today. I'll be back tomorrow. And as always, be sure to like and to subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.